Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam.
Srila Gurudev ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Pan Guru Varga ki jai. Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Prem Purushottam Shachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai. Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai. Radha Ramana Ju ki jai. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Hari Naam Sankirtan ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
You want that light on?
Oh, you turned it off? I was just wondering.
It radiates heat. It was hot in the house.
Okay, I was just wasn't sure if the electricity was on. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 in this book, Sri Gauri Giti Gucha, starting with Vandeham, V-A-N-D-E, apostrophe, H-A-M. Technical difficulties.
What's that high pitch?
Exactly.
There. No.
We're probably going to have to do everything in this scale, so.
Okay.
Jai. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padkamalam Shri Vaisnava Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvekam Savadhutam Vardhana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamshcha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namaha Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Namine Shri Krishna Leela Kapale Sudaksham Avadaya Madhurya Gunashcha Yuktam Varam Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirasam Namami Tridanginam Bhakta Shiromanincharam Shri Krishna Pada Jagataika Hridhi Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha चरित्राय सश्रितानां च पाणिने जीवदुःखे सदरताय श्रीराम प्रेमदायिने नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वतीति नामिने श्रीवर्षभारती देवी दयिताय कृपाभये कृष्ण सम्बन्ध विज्ञान दैवे प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाढ्यं श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिना श्रीगौर करुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनकारिणे रूपानुगविरुधापो सिद्धान्तध्वंसहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षान्मय्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे पदं भूषयते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगमरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्ज्येष्ठा सजनप्रिय वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरगोपङ्गो मम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वप्रदम्बोज राधामदनमोहन दिव्यवृन्दानन्दकल्पद्रुमलो श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थ श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव श्रीमन्यासरसारम्भि वंशिवन्नत्यतस्थितः कर्षं मे गोपीनाथः श्रीयस्यः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्य परं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनं हरे नाम हरे नामेव केवलं करो Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So, Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. If you do that too, and I can't see. It's not done. So, page 359, Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. So, it starts with Guru Charana, Carana.
Kakura Vaishnavagana Kori E Nivedana. Page 43, starting with Thakura by Srila Narottam Das Thakur.
Jato dekhi sabke
Page 267. Sri Nityanandashtakam. We will chant it together.
I probably won't sing this one with you.
Okay.
Can you speak for just a minute?
We will chant it together. I've heard a tune sung for with the rhythm, but for some reason, according to the proper rhythmic structure of this ashtakam, my mind and heart doesn't allow me to do it like that because it actually forces one to go out of the meter of the ashtakam and mispronounce the words. Means if you end up stretching an it becomes an like that. So then that can actually reverse the meaning in the Sanskrit language. Right? You put an A in front of mrit and you have... Alright, there it is.
Oh yeah, that's it.
I just disappeared. Sorry about that. Electricity just switched off. Are you there? So, we'll do it together. And it's going to go like this. There's a meter to it. So try to follow me. No card calls, no drum.
Oh, okay. We're just gonna listen.
Ifmit? I don't know.
Do you put an A in front of?
I think she's saying Amrit.
Oh.
It just so happens that in Sanskrit, for example, there's a word niyamagraha. So in the middle it's A. Niyama plus agraha becomes niyamagraha. In that case, our Guru Varga have explained that it has two meanings, niyama agraha and niyama agraha. Under adherence or over adherence to the rules and regulations of scriptures. It means one should also use their intelligence. Instead of applying something all the way one way or all the way the other way, there should be an understanding according to context. So there are so many examples, I'm not going to go into that right now. But there are words which can be reversed by saying, by making a long vowel there versus a short one in Sanskrit. So it's important to try to understand. When you see a long A, an A with a line on top, that's A. And when you see an A without a line on top, that is A. It's not an A like in the English language.
Oh, she was saying that's where you left off.
Okay, sorry, thank you. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. So now we will sing it together. Sharaj Chandra Grantim Spuraramana Kantim Gajagatim Hari Premam Makam Drita Parama Sattvam Smitamukam Sada Ghurnan Netram Karakalita Vetram Kalividam Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajana Tarukandam Niravadhi Rasanam Magaram Svajana Gana Sarvasvamatulam Tadiyaika Pranam Pratima Pashubhajana Vapatim Sada Premam Vadam Paramavihitam Mandamam. Let me do that one again. Sada Premam Vadam Paramavihitam Mandamanasam Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajana Tarukandam Niravadhi Shachi Sunu Preshtam Nikila Jagarishtam Sukhamayam Kalo Majjajivo Dharana Karano Dama Karunam Hare Rakyanava Bhavajaladhigarvo Natiharam Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajana Tarukandam Niravadhi Aye Bhratarninam Kaligalushinam Kimnu Bhavika Tata Prayashchittam Rachayana Dayasat. Again. Tata Prayashchittam Rachaya Yatanaya Satapime Vrajanti Tvami Saha Bhagavata Mantrayati Yo Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajana Tarukandam Niravadhi Yatishtam Pribhato Kuru Hari Hari Bhanam Manisham Tato Samsaram Buddhi Taranadayo Magilage Idam Bahu Spokai Atati Ratayam Yap Pratigriham Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajana Tarukandam Niravadhi Madat Samsaram Bho Nidhiharanavum Bho Mamamaho Satam Shreya Sindhu Nati Kumudabandhum Samuditam Khala Shreni Spurja Dimirahara Surya Prabhamaham Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajana Tarukandam Niravadhi Vatantam Gayantam Harimanubhadantam Patitam Again Vatantam Gayantam Harimanubhadantam Patipati Brajantam Pashyantam Swamapi Nadayantam Janaganam Prakurvantam Santam Sakarunadrigantam Prakalana Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajana Tarukandam Niravadhi Sudibranum Bhratum Karasarasijam Kam Again Sudibranum Bhratum Karasarasijam Komalataram Mito Vaktraloko Chalita Paramananda Hridayam Brahmantam Madhuryaya Ahahamadayantam Purajanan Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajana Tarukandam Niravadhi Rasanam Madharam Rasikamarasat Vaishnavadhanam Rasagaram Saram Patitataditaram Smaranata Param Nityanandashtakamidam Apurvam Patatiyas Tadam Vedvandvabjam Skuratu Nitaram Tasya Hridaye Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajana Tarukandam Niravadhi Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajana Tarukandam Niravadhi Jai Nityananda Ram Jai Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Jai Nityananda Ram
Starts with Gauranga and Bolite, No.
Right here?
No is good.
We can do the authentic Bengali tune, or we can do the Western one.
There was another request? Which page is it?
I don't know.
The old, authentic one.
Old authentic. Well, there's Bengali authentic. There's then there's the other one. You know, like Hey Gopina, Hey Gopina.
Only one person can do that. Gopinath, Mama,
You might want to check. But I think it's storming right now. You should go and check your room in the windows. Sounds like a lot of wind up there. Gopinath, Mamani Vedana Shano, 130. 130. How is it out? It's okay? It's not storming inside?
Okay.
Mamani Vedana Shano, the first one. Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radha Page 342, Vande Shri Vrishabhanu Sutta Pada. Starts with B-A-N-D-E, Vande, page 342. Do we have clothes out there? No. Page 342. Vande Shri Vrishabhanu Sutta Pada. Vande Shri Vrishabhanu 342.
Okay, only those with the songbook have it.
Okay, sorry about that. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Oh, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Shrimati Radharani ki jai. I thought you were telling me the connection was cut. Would you like to lead Hare Krishna?
No, I have no voice.
Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Anchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Nandayate Jinim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. In the same thousands of Dandava Pranam into the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. To our Rupanuga Guru Varga and my Dandava Pranam to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including those of you who are with us today. My Dandava Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
So continuing with going beyond Vaikuntha, which is the Bhav Anuvad, means the manifestation from the heart of our Gurudev, his commentary on Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which was compiled by Sri Sanatan Goswamipada. So before entering into this book, we will pray to Sri Sanatan Goswami in the words of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairaga Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnaya Apayanan Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripam Budirya Padadukaduki Sanatanastam Prabhum Ashrayami. Praying in the foot dust of our Gurudev and Sri Sanatan Goswamipada, that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest within our hearts. So we're in chapter 3, entitled The Superiority of Nam Sankirtan. And Srila Gurudev was telling us that in this age of Kali Yuga, there is no other way to attain perfection. Perfection for the soul means to awaken prema, other than taking shelter of the holy names of the Lord. Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam. But remember, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada explained that Harer Nam doesn't only mean the name, because within the name, all of his pastimes are present, all of his forms and his qualities are present. Therefore, Harer Nam means Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, because Abhinatva Nama Namino, there's no difference between Krishna and his names. So, there's no other way. And then I mentioned last time that Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj explained that actually the pure name is manifesting from the tongue of the pure devotee of the Lord, that it is called Shuddhanam. So it is not necessarily my own chanting of that name that brings me perfection. As Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur said, Ekaki amar nahi pai bal Hari Naam Sankirtane. On my own, I have no strength to even connect to or chant the holy name of the Lord. Because of my material conditioning, because of the status of my mind and heart, I am absorbed in my thirst for material things. As he said in that bhajan we just sang, Gopinath Mamin Nivedana Shuno. I am offering this prayer at your lotus feet. What is my current condition? Vishayi Durjan. I'm very far away from bhakti and from bhaktas, from devotees. And I have so much thirst for material enjoyment. Sada kamarata. I'm always chasing after those things which will satisfy my lustful desires. Kichu nahi moragun. I have no good qualities in me whatsoever. So there's a certain kind of prayer which is also necessary in order to be able to connect with Sri Harinam Prabhu. And this kind of prayer can be had in the association of devotees who are truly humble, who are actually feeling themselves low. When we feel ourselves low, it's because that is the truth. When they feel themselves low, it is because of humility. Like Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He's feeling himself. He even says, I am a greater sinner than Jagai and Madai ever were, and I am lower than a worm in stool. This is not true, but he's feeling that way about himself. When we feel that way about ourselves, it may actually be true. But when he's feeling that way about himself, it's not true. But his humility is allowing him to feel that way. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, until we come to that understanding, that realization of our utter insignificance and the helplessness, the state of helplessness that we're in, as Badha Jivas, bound souls in this world, until we come to that point, we cannot call out the holy name of the Lord with a heart full of humility. So what is required to chant the holy name of the Lord constantly? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Trinarapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. To always be able to chant the holy name of the Lord, one must be in a very humble state of mind, giving all respect to others and expecting none for themselves. But how or where should a devotee practice this mood in connection with other devotees? Senior Vaishnavas means high-class Vaishnavas. High-class means they are absorbing their mind 100% in Guru, Gauranga, and Radha and Krishna, and not giving even one fraction of a moment to anything else. No attraction for anything in this material world. Then when we are in that association, we can really become humble to them. And by that humility, service mood will manifest. By that, relationship will come. We will give of our hearts, and they will give of their hearts. So we will give of our hearts in the form of dedication, and they will give of their hearts in the form of Krishna. So in a humble state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So Srila Gurudev brought us to the point of what the four-armed eternal associates of Narayan were saying to Gopakumar. They were telling him that of all the different practices, Nam Sankirtan is the best. Why? Because Kirtan is the most powerful. Today I posted a quote. Srila Gurudev was saying, even if you're trying to meditate, if we're doing Kirtan next to you, you cannot concentrate on your meditation. Automatically your mind will go to that Kirtan. How powerful is Kirtan? So of all the limbs of bhakti, especially in this age, the age of Kali, the Kirtan, the chanting and glorification of the names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord is the most important, and by that all of the other limbs of bhakti can be accomplished. But without Kirtan, it's not very easy. Practically impossible, especially in this age of Kali. So they're saying that Gurudev gave this example of the horse with no reins and no rider. That horse is running in all directions, helter-skelter, running everywhere, and it cannot be controlled. But when the rider, that rider, Gurudev is saying, is
The soul.
Harinam Prabhu.
Oh.
rides on that horse and directs him, then everything is automatically taken care of. So for this reason, Jayanta, the Guru of Gopkumar, gave this mantra to him to chant. What mantra? Shri Krishna Gopala Hare Mukunda Govinda He Nanda Kishora Krishna Ha Shri Yashoda Tanaya Prasida Shri Vallavi Jivana Radhikesha. Do you remember what was the most essential secret part of this? For those who are aspiring for the eternal service, Dasyayate Mamarasostu Satyam of Srimati Radhika, Shri Vallavi Jivan. For those who are aspiring for that, who are aspiring to be like Rupa Goswami and like our Guru Varga coming in the line of Rupa Goswami, we will focus on that part of that prayer, Shri Vallavi Jivan. For Gopkumar, it was Yashoda Tanaya. But for those who are coming in the line of Rupa Goswami, we will focus on that Shri Vallavi Jivan. Gurudeva has given us this secret hint. We have heard that anyone who doesn't perform kirtan that is full of the names of Bhagavan, but only chants the Gopal mantra, will not be able to enter Golok Braj. Interesting, isn't it? Who is not doing Nam Kirtan, but only chanting Gopal mantra, will not be able to enter Goloka Braj. But it has also been said that the 60,000 sages who witnessed the pastimes of Ram in Satya Yuga performed sadhan by chanting the Gopal mantra. And as a result, they attained the forms of gopis in their next lives. And those who cite this reference say, so how can the Gopal mantra be considered inferior? The Kama Gayatri is inferior? They will not take one to Goloka? The Gopal mantra and the Kama Gayatri are mantras of perfection. Anyone who performs sadhana by chanting them will certainly attain Goloka. So now Gurudev is telling how we can harmonize this. Remember, we were discussing this point the other day. Now Srila Gurudev is telling us how we can harmonize. One time we were in Fiji with Gurudev, and Gurudev got off the phone and he sat down. Or he was already sitting down, but he was just kind of shaking his head, and he said, Guru can reconcile anything. This is a pretty amazing statement, because that is also one of the specialities of Krishna. Aghatana Ghatana Patiyasi Shakti, that he can make the impossible possible, or he can reconcile all irreconcilabilities within himself. But Gurudev was saying that Guru can reconcile anything. So here, how can we harmonize? Harmonizing this seems to be a very difficult task, because it appears that there is a contradiction in our Siddhanta. Right? The question he was asking, how is it that Gopal Mantra and Kama Gayatri are inferior? We have seen that personalities have been given this Gopal Mantra and told to chant it, and they have attained perfection. So how is it inferior? Some say that only Nam Sankirtan will take us to Golok, but others have written that by chanting the Gopal Mantra, so many people went to Golok Braj. So how can we reconcile this? I remember in Los Angeles, some devotees asked Srila Gurudev a question based on one verse in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which actually states, nothing else is necessary, only Harinam to attain perfection. So devotees were like, here it said in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he said, so you're going to take that one verse out of context of all of the other verses? And then he explained something very interesting. He said, you can receive Harinam, but it may not even be the pure name. It will descend in front of you in the form of Sri Guru, by the power of that name. And then what will Guru give you? Shuddhanam. He will plant Shuddhanam, the pure name, deep in your heart. And he will give so many other instructions. So, yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. By the mercy of Krishna, one attains Sri Guru, and by the mercy of Guru, one attains. There we are. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Sorry about that. Look at that. Most people are gone. Jai Radhe, Radhe Radhe. Hare Krishna. I've switched it over to Kishori. There's a big storm outside, so it may be affecting the tower, which is broadcasting to Radharaman. It's going. So, we were speaking about Harinam Prabhu and the harmonization which is necessary when it comes to the idea of Nam Kirtan versus the mantras. Our Diksha mantras. Can you close that bathroom door, please?
I'll do it. I got it.
I don't see it anymore.
What happened?
Thank you.
I just don't see it anymore.
It says it's live there.
Yeah, we just fixed it, but I can't find it again.
That's okay. So, Srila Gurudev was explaining that yes, nothing else is necessary. Nam is everything. Nam is non-different from Krishna. So, abhinatva nama namino. As you're praying to Harinam, as you're crying and chanting the holy name, what will manifest? Krishna will hear that prayer. Tahara prarthana Shri Nanda Kumar. That person who is crying out and following the sixfold process of Sharanagati, Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, will hear that prayer. And he will reciprocate. Just reset your Facebook and it'll come back on.
No, it's not, but this is still not. Maybe it's on a different internet. Just continue, it seems to be okay.
Oh, it's because you're on Radharaman and that's off.
Right,
Okay.
so don't worry.
So, Tahara Prarthana Shri Nanda Kumar. If Krishna hears your prayer, you're crying out, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Srila Gurudeva Maharaj said that Maha Mantra is the sound of the jiva crying out to Krishna for mercy. Right?
Right?
Then how does Krishna's mercy appear in this world? Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Sansara Dava Nalagidha Loka Tranaya Karunya Ganaganatvam Praptasya Kalyanavadandavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. His mercy manifests in this world in the form of Sri Guru, the pure devotee, Krishna Kripa Sri Murti, the form of Krishna's mercy. And then Guru gives us all kinds of instructions. So it's not that, no, I don't need Guru, I will only accept the name. No. Then it means we're not accepting the result of the name. The name is giving us Guru, and Guru is giving us instruction. So Srila Gurudev reconciled it like this. So how can we reconcile about the different statements in Shastra? Some saying only Nam Sankirtan, and others are saying yes, but Gopal Mantra is being given, and that can also bring perfection. How do we reconcile? Gurudev says, very easily. Where is perfection attained? Where is sadhana practiced? In this material world.
Through the human form of life.
Why? Why from the human form of life?
Because it's only from the human form of life that you can endeavor for perfection. Animals are only running on their karma. They're only tasting the fruits of their previous karmas. Demigods are also only tasting the fruits of previous karmas. And so they can't actually act independently for bhakti. So they also have to come into birth in this world. Little storm going on.
Just a little bit.
They also have to come into birth here to attain perfection and for sadhu sangha.
Can you put a rag in the door so it doesn't keep banging like that? Sorry about that. It's very distracting.
Okay. Was that an okay answer?
Yes, perfect answer.
Okay.
Only in the human form can one endeavor for perfection. Sometimes it is said that, oh, I thought a cow was the last birth. I thought a monkey was the last birth. or just being an animal in Vrindavan. But Shastra says only from the human form can one endeavor for perfection. Labva sudulabhamidam mahusambhavante manusyamartadamanittimapi hadhira turnamyate tanapadet anumrittiyavan shreyashaya vishaya khalu sarvatasyat. Only from the human form can one endeavor for perfection. So, this human form of life is so valuable. The Gurudev here is saying, in this material world, that is where sadhana is practiced. In the human form. That is how perfection is attained. While one is practicing. What? Oh, she's fine. Unless she slipped. Where is sadhana practiced? In this material world. And those sages of Dandakaranya were practicing sadhana by chanting the Gopal mantra. From the mantra, Sambandha Gyan arose. Sambandha Gyan means knowledge of one's eternal, intrinsic, inherent, constitutional relationship with their particular Ishtadev, the particular form of the Lord that one eternally relates with. Their Sambandha Gyan arose and ultimately transformed into permanent sentiment, Sthayi Bhav. Sthayi Bhav means that fixed eternal relationship. So Sambandha Gyan means knowledge of that, awareness of that relationship awoke within them by the power of their mantra. And then it brought them ultimately to their permanent sentiment. Means fixed. They realized it. It became a reality. Sthayi Bhav, fixed mood. And according to their particular internal natures, they attained perfection. So we're hearing a lot of this now. According to their particular internal natures. Srila Gurudev was so conclusive on this point. He didn't leave any room for debating about it. The fact that some of Gurudev's disciples have chosen subsequently to debate about it or even choose to not accept Gurudev's position on this, maybe it might be that they found some other Siddhanta or maybe some other teacher who will teach them these subjects. But to accept those things removes them from the position of disciple. Srila Gurudev himself said this. He said, then what is the meaning of being a disciple? If one can just whimsically reject or twist or disregard the instructions and the siddhantas that their Gurudev has given. What is the meaning of that? Now, mind you, I'm speaking about siddhanta, tattva siddhanta. Sri Gurudev also gives instructions according to time, place, and circumstance. For example, Srila Prabhupada said, all my disciples are pure devotees. So, one can test themselves and see. In one sense, yes, all jivas are in potential pure devotees. But what are the qualities of a pure devotee? Srila Gurudev has said certain things about me, which I hope one day will come to pass. But it doesn't necessarily mean it is the reality in the moment. And he has also said certain things like, I have faith that so-and-so will not fall down, and subsequently that person fell down. So this is a hopeful potential, giving someone an opportunity to step up and maintain that instruction which he has given, or that statement which he has given according to time, place, and circumstance. That is not necessarily tattva siddhanta. Some people misconstrue time, place, and circumstance statements with tattva siddhanta, and this creates a very dangerous precedent. The dangerous precedent that is created is that we take any statement that Gurudev makes at any time and give it the same position as tattva siddhanta. This can be very, very dangerous. depending on the context. Right? Would you like to add to this?
No, I think
Because you look like you wanted to say something.
no.
Oh, okay. So, we should understand that I mentioned yesterday, Srila Prabhupada wrote letters to individuals according to their own intrinsic necessity of the moment. And each individual is on their own subjective path, their own evolution of consciousness. And it's not all one. Where Sudevi is at and where I'm at are different. That's why Gurudev told me many times you should follow her. I know, I had the mic, so she has to tolerate it. He told me many times, be strong like her, follow her. Because I went to him and I said, I'm weak. I'm very weak. I don't even have desire for this thing. I'm so indecisive. But she immediately gave up everything and followed him. So he was saying, be strong like her. So where she's at and where I'm at is not necessarily the same place. So Guru gives instructions to individuals. And sometimes he makes external statements as well. But this is not necessarily an eternal statement. Otherwise, it can be proven if we are making this statement into a tattva, it can be proven that the tattva is wrong.
And tattva can't be wrong.
And tattva cannot be wrong. Tattva is an eternal absolute reality, which is not wrong. So it is a misunderstanding to apply the idea of tattva onto the time, place, circumstance, statements or instructions of Sri Guru. It can create chaos in society.
Isn't this why we have the pyramid?
Yes, that is why we have a system. There's a system in Vaishnavism. And that system is known as Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. That they need to confirm one another and complement one another. This is a very important thing. There needs to be a balance and a complementing. If we don't complement, then we can be in a very dangerous situation of misrepresenting Sri Guru. So, there's a lot more to speak on that subject, but we won't deal with it now. But Srila Prabhupada didn't want his letters published for a reason. Because one devotee will look at that person's letter and say, oh, let me apply that to myself. Prabhupada gave that particular person a license for a certain amount of nonsense because they just said, you know what, I can't do it. And if I can't just even have this much, then I'm leaving forever. So Prabhupada would say, then just this, but no more. And then another devotee will say, oh, look at that. Prabhupada gave the license for nonsense. Let's apply it publicly. No. That's where the danger comes in. Time, place, circumstance, instruction is for that individual or for that particular time. It's not necessarily for all time. What is told in Shastra and what is told as Siddhanta, what is told as Tattva, what is given as Tattva, that is for all time. So, Gurudev is saying, where is perfection attained? Where is sadhana practiced? In the material world. And those sages of Dandakaranya were practicing sadhana by chanting the Gopal mantra. Interesting that they received the Gopal mantra. They had first seen Sri Ramachandra, and immediately their hearts ran to him. But Ramchandra knew what is the position of the Dandakaranya Rishi's soul. What is their nature? He didn't change their nature. He didn't turn them all into Hanumans, make them only, what do you call it, Dasyaras. He didn't change their hearts. He told them, in essence, in this form I cannot fulfill the desire or the necessity of your Atma, which is Gopal. So when I come as Krishna, then I will fulfill all of your desires. And from that time, for 60,000 years or longer, they were chanting Gopal mantra. And as a result of chanting this Gopal mantra, they manifested in the forms of gopis in Krishna's Leela, and Krishna fulfilled all of their desires. So there are Rishi-chari gopis, Muni-chari gopis, so many different kinds of gopis, personifications of the Upanishads, so many different personalities who came as gopis. So these Dandakaranya Rishi had their internal, intrinsic nature in relationship with Krishna. And they even saw Ram in such a way, but he is not able to fulfill that desire. So by the chant of their mantra, they attained that perfection. From the mantra, Sambandha Gyan arose and ultimately transformed into a permanent sentiment, Sthayi Bhav. And according to their particular internal natures, they attained perfection. They reached the limit of this world and became qualified to go beyond. So whatever highest benefit this world could afford them, they attained that and then had to continue onward. Then by the influence of Yoga Maya, such perfected souls take birth in the womb of gopis when the manifest pastimes of Krishna appear in one of the material universes. After taking birth in Braj from the womb of a gopi, they either become a sakha, which means a cowherd boy, a motherly or fatherly-like guardian of Krishna, means anyone who's manifesting in Vatsalya Prem, or a gopi. Gopi meaning gopi or manjari. But they must first take birth in Gokul and develop an identity. Interesting, we were discussing this morning. I was discussing it with the cow people, Anup and Sudevi, on the street in Vrindavan. We were discussing this particular point. Srila Prabhupada also himself has written in the 10th canto. Now most of us have Krishna book, but Srila Prabhupada himself did the translations and the purports up until Brahma Vimohan Leela. So most of the devotees don't read the 10th canto because they have the Krishna book. And some of them don't want to read after a certain point because it wasn't Prabhupada who did the translations and purports. However, up until Brahma Vimohan Leela, in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada did give the translations and the purports. And in there, he specifically states that the last birth, the final birth that any jiva takes before attaining perfection in relationship with Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan is within any Bhoma Vrindavan, means worldly Vrindavan, where Krishna's pastimes are being performed in any particular universe. That is the last or final birth any jiva takes. But that is not considered really to be material. This is already beyond liberation. So already you can say that by the time someone enters that state, they've already attained beyond liberation. So it's not considered material any longer to be born into Krishna's pastimes and naturalized. Gurudev is using this. They must first take birth in Gokul and develop an identity. So today we were discussing, if someone is born in Vrindavan, here in Vrindavan, automatically all the locals say, you are Brajvasi. If someone is not born in Vrindavan, then, if we're from the West, they call us Videshis, means outsiders. But even if you're not from Vrindavan, you're coming from Delhi or Nepal or whatever, they'll still see that you are from outside. But those who are born in Vrindavan, automatically everyone says you are Brajvasi. When we are born into the pastimes of Krishna, we have become naturalized from birth in that pastime. So no one's going to look and think, oh my God, you're a foreigner, you're from outside, are you qualified or are you not? You have already awakened and realized your intrinsic eternal relationship with Krishna, whether it's as a Sakha, or in Vatsalya Ras, or in Madhurya Ras as a Gopi or Manjari. You've already realized that, and you take birth in any womb from any Gopi, in any Bhoma, worldly Vrindavan, where Krishna is performing his pastimes, and from there you are raised, and automatically that sentiment is manifest. So Gurudev is explaining it very beautifully here. By the influence of Yoga Maya, such perfected souls take birth in the womb of gopis when the manifest pastimes of Krishna appear in one of the material universes. After taking birth in Braj from the womb of a gopi, they either become a cowherd boy, a parental figure, or a gopi. But they must first take birth in Gokul and develop an identity. That identity is, I am of Vrindavan. Krishna is the beloved of my life. And in the case of those gopis who are serving Srimati Radhika, then they are obsessed with the love of Radha and Krishna. Then there is no necessity of chanting the mantra any longer. Because the mantra has manifested personally in front of them. So there is no necessity of chanting the mantra any longer. Rather, by hearing and chanting about Krishna's pastimes, and by the association of Gopal himself. Now, Gurudev is using this word Gopal. Normally when you hear Gopal, you think, hey, where's the baby?
The baby.
He's next door to
He's next door. He wants to be in the rainstorm. So people think Laddu Gopal, or the protector of the cows. But our Guru Varga and Gurudev have explained that Go means many things. Go means senses. Go means cows. Go means Govatsa, calves. Go means Gopas. Go means the elderly Gopas and the elderly Gopis. And Go means Gopis. All the different kinds of Gopis. It means all the Brajavasis. Go also means Govardhan. So, Gopal means who is nourishing, who is protecting, who is maintaining all of Vrindavan according to their individual respective sentiments of love and affection toward him. So as one is chanting the mantra, the Gopal of their intrinsic nature will manifest.
It would be something like Aishwarya Bhav, wouldn't it? The mood of awe and reverence if you continued chanting mantras there, because you would be thinking that he is my Ishtadev, he is the Lord of my heart. You wouldn't actually, or the Lord of my mantra. You wouldn't actually be, it would be, no, it's no longer necessary.
Think of it this way. When chanting the names of Krishna, like Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, what? Oh, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. When chanting the names of Krishna, is there any hard and fast rule to chant these names? Gurudev said sometimes the gopis are massaging their husbands' legs. Sometimes they're putting babies to sleep. Sometimes they're churning butter. Sometimes they're cooking. Sometimes they're putting on their shringar, their decorations. Sometimes they're going to the well to collect water. But anytime they can chant the names of Krishna. But when we chant our mantras, we have to face a particular direction. We have to be freshly showered. It must be at a certain time. There's 3 sandhyas. There's the sandhya early morning, just after Brahma Muhurta. There's the sandhya in the evening, at night, just before darkness, the junctions of the day and night. And then there's the midday sandhya, so 3 times a day, sitting in a particular direction, after having showered, fresh tilak, and sitting. Now imagine, in Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna is playing with his cowherd boyfriends, They're wrestling, they're eating, they're stealing food from each other, putting chili pakoras in each other's mouths and dandelion flowers and what have you. And suddenly, oh, it's 12 o'clock. Everyone jumps in Jamuna, then they all sit down and start chanting their mantras. No, this does not happen. Gopis are doing Rasa Leela with Krishna. Oh, it's midnight. Oh, sorry. 7 o'clock at night or 4 o'clock in the morning, the end of night, Nishanta Leela. Time for Mangalarti. Let's sit down and chant our mantras. Not like this. So Gurudev here is saying, and I like what Sudevi made this point, wouldn't that be an basically impressing Aishwarya Bhav within that pastime? In that case, actually, to do such a thing would be rasabhas. It would be abhas, or disruptive to the rasa. So this is one very interesting perspective. So there is no necessity of chanting the mantra any longer. Rather, by hearing and chanting about Krishna's pastimes, and by the association of Gopal himself, the gopis, and all of his other eternal playmates, one will himself become part of Krishna's eternal entourage and then go to Goloka Vrindavan. So what is told by our Gurudev and Guru Varga is that when you are born into Krishna's pastimes in any universe on any earth planet where he is performing his pastimes, yes, I know, there are other universes, parallel, maybe not parallel, but still, Krishna's pastimes are going on parallel-like in millions of universes, but there is some variation, some difference, right? Once Pulastya Rishi carried Govardhan here. Once Hanuman carried Govardhan here. There's variation. Once Srimati Radhika was born in Raval. Another time, Vrishabhanu Maharaj found her on a lotus flower in the middle of Vrishabhanukund. Different variations within the same basic foundational structure of the pastimes of the Lord. They are also not static. They are ecstatic. They're moving and dynamic, the pastimes of Krishna. So many universes are there. As I told before, Shyamarani Didi would always tell this class. She said it was the first class she heard from Srila Prabhupada. He was saying, in the first second of the first universe, Krishna will manifest his pastimes. And in the very next second, in the second universe, Krishna will manifest his pastimes. They're still going on here, but now they're going on there. And in the next second, in the next universe, and the next, like this, and so forth, unlimitedly. Krishna's pastimes are going on in unlimited universes. And there are so many different galaxies and earth planets within all of these universes. So wherever Krishna is performing his pastimes, we will enter into those pastimes, and any earthly plane, Homa Vrindavan, just like this Vrindavan that we are currently in, where we are sitting. For those who have the eyes to see, they can understand the true Vrindavan. So Krishna performed his pastimes in this place, on the banks of Jamuna, Jamuna Puline Kadamba Kanane, under the shade of the Kadamba trees. He played his pastimes here. So in this Vrindavan, so many took birth into the pastimes of Krishna while he was performing his pastimes here 5,000 plus years ago. And then when Krishna winds up his Braja Leela in any universe, then those personalities who have been born into those pastimes will also go with Krishna and all of his associates, in essence, back to Godhead. Back to Godhead means we'll enter the unmanifest pastimes, or aprakat lila, what is not manifested to our vision.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
If we end up going back to Goloka Vrindavan, where do we fit in the second universe, and in the third universe, and in the fourth universe, if we are then eternally part of Krishna's eternal Leela?
I can speculate, but I shouldn't.
Okay.
But I have heard and read from our Guru Varga that all of Krishna's divine associates are simultaneously reflected in each universe, you will also be one of Krishna's eternal associates. So I cannot say that suddenly a new person will just appear out of nowhere, but where Krishna's just manifesting his pastimes, you will also manifest wherever Krishna's pastimes are manifesting simultaneously. How is that possible? It seems impossible, but this is possible by the will of Krishna. Almost anything is possible. He can make the impossible possible. How can one be manifest unlimitedly? How is Krishna manifest unlimitedly? As Paramatma in everyone's heart, in every atom of creation, wherever he is performing his pastimes, Nanda is there, Yashoda is there, Srimati Radhika is there, all of the gopis are there, the cowherd boys are there, the cows are there, Govardhan is there, Vrindavan is there, and all of his eternal associates are present. So you will also be present in Krishna's pastimes.
Thank you.
So Gurudev here is saying, one will not go to Goloka Vrindavan directly. One will become part of Krishna's eternal entourage and then go to Goloka Vrindavan.
I'm going to check if there are any questions.
Okay.
I don't
You can check on the iPad.
No, it's not. It's hooked up to a different...
Hook it up to this.
I don't know how.
Oh. Where's your phone?
No power.
Here.
Just continue,
Okay,
and
take it.
we'll just see if there's any questions while you're speaking.
One second. So, one will not go directly. Therefore, everything is reconciled like this. First, there is Svarup Siddhi. Means perfection of one's form. Svarup means one's rup or form, and Siddhi means perfection. The internal realization of one's eternal identity. So this one comes first. And then after relinquishing the material body, so realization of one's Svarup Siddhi comes before the relinquishment of the material body. After relinquishing the material body comes Vastu Siddhi, taking birth in a spiritual body within the Lord's pastimes. So here's some terms. Svarup Siddhi means realization. Realization means internally seeing who I am, what I am in relationship with Krishna. And Vastu Siddhi means you're actually taking birth in the pastimes of the Lord. The mantra is only useful in sadhana. There is no necessity of it in the stage of perfection. So the Diksha mantras Gurudev is saying are only necessary in the stage of sadhana, in the stage of the practice which brings us to perfection. But once we have attained perfection, in other words, once you take birth in Goloka Vrindavan and have your form in the pastimes of Krishna as Vastu Siddhi, then your mantra is no longer necessary because, as Gurudev said, you will be directly associating with Gopal himself, who is the Ishtadev of your mantra. So saying that the Gopal mantra will take one to Golok Braj is correct. It will bring us to the entrance, and then we will enter, and the activities of the mantra will cease. So we will no longer be remembering that mantra, we will be engaging in direct relationship with the personified mantra. Both ideas in regard to the mantra are correct, but without the Gopal mantra and the Kama Gayatri, will our sadhana be complete with only Nam Sankirtan? Now this is a point of contention for lots of people. Because they're like, oh, Harinam eva kevalam. There's no other way. Right? This is their understanding. But what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? You can only know me and understand me in truth with undivided, pure love and affection. So if with my material mind, my material intelligence, I am venturing to understand the words of Shastra, which are non-different from Krishna himself, and I have not awakened my love and affection for him, then I'm missing some essential ingredient of my understanding. That essential ingredient is, it is necessary to secure the guiding grace of the Acharya. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada says in his article, Thakur Bhaktivedanta, you can find it in bdml. It used to be .org, I think it's .net now, BDML, Bhaktivedanta Memorial Library. bdml.net. Under the Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, there's one article called Thakur Bhaktivedanta. And in there he says, there are those persons who have captured every word of Bhaktivedanta Thakur and can recite it from memory, backwards and forwards, without having captured the least essence, the least of the essence of its true meaning, without following his instructions. His instructions state that without the association and guidance of the pure devotee, without following that instruction, without securing the guiding grace of the Acharya, he said, you will never understand the true meaning of his words. That is why Rupa Goswami says, in the verse which describes the essence of all advice, Iti Upadesha Saram, the essence of all advice, he says, Tishtam Braje, residing in Vrindavan. How? Tad Anuragi Jan Anugami. Under the guidance of that personality who is overflowing with love and affection, Anurag, divine love for Krishna. In the particular relationship that your soul, requires or is desiring or is inherently striving to attain. So that kind of association, that person who has that can help to awaken that in our hearts.
So we have a question here. It reminds me of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cat and monkey logic. But the question is, I feel sad thinking that I can't go back to Krishna after this life. I know my heart is not pure, but I need mercy. I really am feeling tired of this world. All I'll do is fight against it. I wish I was not so confused. I feel selfish because I want to go home completely with mercy. Is it possible to go home after this life? I know, but that frightens me. I know I won't, but that frightens me.
Yes, it is possible to go home after this life. Because if in this life you have completely surrendered to Krishna, then what will be your next birth? Think about it. If in this life you have surrendered to the point of awakening your Svarup Siddhi, who am I in relationship with Krishna, inside? Then, upon relinquishing this body, your Atma, who has attained self-realization, will take birth in Krishna's pastimes.
But she's saying if she has...
But that is back home. It is.
Yes, but she's saying that it frightens her that she knows she can't. So is there basically, can you go back on mercy alone? She needs mercy.
Our Guru Varga, our Acharyas, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself have discussed this point. Two things are necessary. One, mercy. That is called kripa. And the other thing that is necessary is called cheshta. So two kinds of logic were discussed with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Which one is it? Some people believe that one is completely dependent upon mercy, like the baby kitten is dependent upon the mercy of his mother. He can't even open his eyes, he can't walk or do anything. So what does she do? She picks him up in her mouth and carries him. So he's completely dependent upon mercy. And others are like, no, 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 it's not like that. It's like the baby monkey. The baby monkey has to hold on to his mother, either on her back or from underneath, and hold on for dear life as she's jumping from building to building and tree to tree, branch to branch. So they asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which one is it? And he said, both. Both are necessary. The mercy of the Lord and our intense endeavor. Our endeavor is called cheshta, and the mercy of the Lord is called kripa. What attracts the mercy of the Lord to come to us? Our intense endeavor. And the mercy of the Lord is always present, but it can come more quickly if we're actually making that endeavor. Our Srila Prabhupada said, for every step we take toward Krishna, he takes 100 or even 1,000 toward us. So there's some interaction which is necessary. Why is it necessary? Because it is pleasing to Krishna. He wants to see us make some endeavor.
It builds relationship.
Right, it's a relationship, which means there's sambandha, relationship. It takes two. Krishna's there waiting for us. It's time without beginning, as we're just trying to enjoy this material world. And he's just waiting for us to turn and look toward him. Just that much. So that's our endeavor. To let go of always trying to be the enjoyer and trying to taste the fruits of this material world. Fruits means enjoy or exploit the material world for our own selfish, self-centered enjoying tendencies. He's waiting for us to turn away from that and to turn to actually accept our nature, which is to love and serve him. So he's waiting very patiently. All we have to do is turn toward him. So that turning toward him is our endeavor. There's also an example given. Our acharyas give it. Once there was a princess, a very, very beautiful princess. She had from her childhood heard the glories of Krishna from many saintly persons who would travel to the kingdom of her father. As she was hearing, she started to develop an attraction for this person that she was hearing about. She was overhearing. How beautiful, how handsome, how strong, how heroic, how charming, how expert. Automatically her heart was beginning to develop attraction, attachment. And she had decided, I will give my heart to no one else. I will give my heart to no one else. My heart is only meant for him. So, as she grew up, the time for her marriage came. And in those days, it wasn't necessarily by one's own choice. Especially in kingdoms, marriages were done for alliances and so many other things. So, they basically said, she's going to marry a nonsense person. His name was Shishupal. She was like, no, I'm not. What did she do? She did the unthinkable. Back then, it wasn't normally done. She wrote a letter, gave it to her Brahmin friend, said, bring it to the object of my letter. When Krishna opened that letter, what did it say? It said, what is meant for the lion is going to be stolen by the jackal. I've already given my heart to you, and it is for no one else. If you do not come and rescue me, then I have no reason to maintain my life. Immediately, I will end my life. Srila Gurudev explains in this context that if any lady is crying, if she starts to weep, first he said, if she's just making any complaint, it might be that it's not heard. If she starts to cry, then maybe the heart melts a little bit. But if she threatens suicide, they will do anything for her. So in this context, she threatened, I will give up my life. I have no reason to maintain my existence. What is meant for the lion is going to be stolen by the jackal. So what happened? She made that endeavor, That endeavor was a big endeavor. She broke so many rules and regulations of society to do such a thing. They had betrothed her to Shishupal. So on the day of her wedding to Shishupal, she went with her girlfriends to the Durga temple to offer prayers, to receive blessings. And at that time, all of the most powerful warriors and kshatriyas were there. But they were completely enamored by her beauty. And at that time, Krishna came in, alone, driving a chariot. He swooped her up in front of everyone, put her on the chariot. She happily went with him. She took the reins and was driving away, and Krishna was firing arrows at everyone who was like, what's going on here? So Krishna kidnapped Rukmini by her own desperate endeavor, by her prayer. If you do not accept me, I have no reason to live. Karuna na hoile, kandiya kandiya, prana na rakhivo ar. Without your mercy, weeping and weeping, I will have no reason to maintain my existence. So this endeavor she made, and because of this, Krishna personally came and snatched her from amidst the host of the most powerful kshatriyas, warriors in the world. He kidnapped her right from the center, and she became his first queen, Sri Rukmini Devi. So, huh? Oh, sorry. So, our hard endeavor is necessary, and Krishna's mercy is also there. When the endeavor comes, it attracts mercy also to come. And that mercy and endeavor will meet at a certain point. What's the rest of the question?
That was pretty much it. She just wanted to know about being there by mercy. Balabhadra Prabhu has a question, but I just want to finish one thing that she asks. And that is, so the illusions of this world are like the branches hitting the baby monkey while the mother is swinging from branch to branch?
I've never heard it said like that. Prahlad Maharaj gives an example, and I'll try to tell it quickly. That there is a man, he's running from a tiger. He sees that there is an old well, and there are some branches dangling into that well. So he takes shelter of those branches. It's like a banyan tree. And he's climbing down into that well. The tiger is on top looking at him, licking its chops. As he's climbing down, he sees that the bottom is full of snakes and scorpions and spiders and all kinds of dangerous creatures. And he starts to go back up, but he realizes he can't go in any direction. And of course, as time would have it, so many mosquitoes are coming, so many problems are there. And then he notices on one branch, a white rat starts chewing on that branch, and on the other one, a black rat starts chewing on that branch. And he's like, oh my God, what's going on here? Just then he notices that due to his moving, shifting, and shaking, a beehive up in the tree begins to drop honey. As that beehive is dropping honey, it's going right in front of him. And he positions himself in such a way that he can actually stick his tongue out and catch a drop of honey. As he catches that drop of honey, he thinks, this is so sweet. That is the illusion of this material world. At every step, there is danger on all sides. The tiger is there on top, the snakes and scorpions, all problems are there. The rats chewing on the branches represent day and night, that every moment is getting closer to the last. And yet, we think everything is okay because we are tasting one little drop of honey. So this is the example given by Prahlad Maharaj. In the other example, the purpose of that example is not to talk about the branches and the leaves and all of that. The purpose of the example is to talk about, one, yes, we must hold on. And two, yes, we must be dependent on the mercy of Krishna. So Srila Gurudev Maharaj also explains, in connection with this example of Prahlad Maharaj, what can happen? Sri Guru can come and very loudly scare away that tiger. How? By kirtan. And then he drops mercy ropes into that well and says, hold on, tie it very tightly to yourself and I will bring you out. Don't let go. Whatever you do, don't let go. And I will take you out of this situation. So we're in this situation, this material world. And what is our hope? The pure devotee, who is sent by Krishna, Krishna's own representative, sent into this world. Srila Gurudeva Maharaja said, mercy ropes are dangling. Hold on. Mercy ropes are there. So two things. The mercy is there, and we also have to do something. Hold on. So it's not only by our power, it's also by the mercy. If the ropes weren't there, then what will we hold on to? So the mercy has presented itself, and we must also make the endeavor to hold on. Or as our Srila Gurudev said, my mercy is flowing like the Yamuna River, but I see that so many of my disciples are dying of thirst right on the edge because they won't drink. So the mercy is there. What do we need to do? We also have to do something. That's the meaning of relationship. Takes two. Means we must also make that endeavor to bow our heads and drink that nectar, the mercy nectar of Sri Guru. So it takes two. Relationships take two. Guru is giving, and I must also give. We shouldn't just be lazy and just sit in one place and think that they should do everything. But really, the way to attract their attention and their mercy is to make that hard endeavor. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said that Krishna is not a laborer in our garden that we can snap our fingers and he should come running to us. Yes, Master. Rather, we should understand that we are the servants of Krishna. And when he snaps his finger, we should come running to him. We should understand that when Guru has come into our life, Krishna has snapped his fingers. That means, yes, it's your time to serve. Guru has come into your life. He's begun our training process. He's begun the process. Now grab on and accept that Krishna is now going to bring us into his service. That is the end of our samsara. This is a very, very blissful awakening. Sri Guru has entered into my life. He's telling me everything Krishna wants me to know. I have been bound in this material world since time without beginning, and finally I've received this opportunity. What an amazing opportunity. And he's going to teach me, going to train me how to serve Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. What a beautiful experience, thought. And how can I give myself so that I can really develop this mood properly? So both are necessary. Guru is giving the mercy, that rope is being displayed in front of us, and our endeavor to hold on and not let go. Take shelter of the process which Guru has given us. Srila Prabhupada calls it a science. Follow that process as they have given it, and you will attain perfection. We should not be hopeless. Gurudev always said, don't be hopeless. Srila Prabhupada said, it can happen in one moment. It can happen in one moment. So we should not be hopeless. Gurudev then would say, never be hopeless. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhagavatamrita Guruvara ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Sri Sanatan Goswamipada ki jai.
So Balabhadra Prabhu has a question, and I'm thinking because you're going to be continuing this subject tomorrow and it's already after time to stop, I want to read the question so that it's heard, and then tomorrow we should discuss this first upon. So he says, we hear a lot about taking birth in the womb of a gopi, but where do Mahaprabhu's manifest pastimes happen for us in our practice and path? And then he says, do we take birth first there, and then do we take birth there first? After that we take birth from the womb of a gopi. So these are his questions, and I'm thinking because it's a long subject, we'll speak on it tomorrow. And Jivapavana just said, adds, and sometimes a monkey is caught because he won't let go of a banana left inside a bottle. That is also holding us here.
Right. That's a related comment. Thank you. Thank you, Balabhadra, for your questions. I think I will have to do some more in-depth research on that. I have read some things from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Some things we've heard from Gurudeva.
Some things we've heard from Gurudeva on this particular subject. But the way you phrase the question requires some deep research. So thank you for that.
Jai.
Jai.
Alright, so tomorrow.
Sudevi?
My throat's...
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, much for participating, for being with us today, and for giving us this, facilitating us to remember the beautiful instructions and the teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Thank you for your beautiful questions. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam. Dandavat pranam, drummer extraordinaire Sudevi. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.